During this period, many netizens in mainland China posted that the peak of deaths will come in 2025. They also uncovered numerous uninhabited villages where luxury homes and supplies remained intact, but where did the people go? Although the Chinese Communist Party authorities are very evasive about the cause of mass deaths, many people have said that, judging from the symptoms, it is very similar to COVID-19. Many initially thought it was just a cold, but it turned out to be a lung disease. In this wave of the epidemic, young people accounted for a large proportion of deaths. Mr. Fu from Xi'an, Henan, reported several sudden deaths among young and middle-aged people during this year's epidemic. All were Communist Party members. A leaked mortality report sparked heated discussions, especially over the high death rates among millennials. 5.2% for the post-80s and 3% for the post-90s, ranking first and third. Despite the Public Security Bureau's efforts to suppress discussions, reports of young people dying continue. A funeral home screen in Shandong showed that 3 of 8 recent deaths were between 14 and 31 years old. Mr. Li from Zhoukou, Henan, described severe fevers and colds leading to numerous deaths, with hospitals overwhelmed. Many in their 30s and 40s died suddenly from pneumonia, heart attacks, and cerebral infarctions. Dr. Zhang Liang from Jiangsu revealed a sharp rise in sudden deaths, mostly due to heart attacks, among otherwise healthy individuals, particularly government employees. He noted that death certificates often list sudden cardiac death post-epidemic, with most Chinese now in suboptimal health. Many report weakened immunity, frequent illnesses, and increased mortality, with severe flu leading to more deaths. A dangerous bird flu strain is also spreading, but authorities continue to cover it up. Consequently, mortality among young and middle-aged Chinese remains alarmingly high. At present, hospitals across mainland China are overcrowded, and videos are constantly circulating online showing crematoriums in many parts of China with long queues for cremation. Although the Chinese Communist Party officially claims that this is the peak period of influenza and that 99% of cases are influenza A, the Chinese public widely questions whether this is actually an outbreak of COVID-19 or another related disaster. Although the Chinese Communist Party has made every effort to conceal the truth about the epidemic, the Chinese people have drawn their own conclusions based on the abnormal phenomena around them. Mr. Li, a resident of Zhoukou Village, Henan Province, said that due to the high number of deaths in the area and China's economic depression, many local people have switched to earth burials to save on cremation costs. The Chinese Communist Party authorities, who had previously forced the public to adopt cremation, turned a blind eye to the public's quiet shift to earth burials as crematoriums became overcrowded. Mr. Li said that funerals were held daily in the local rural areas and new graves were everywhere in the fields. He said, "There are 500, 600, 700, 800, or more than 1,000 people in a village. There are many deaths. How many people have died? I didn't count. Anyway, there are deaths in every village, either in this village or that village. 1 village per kilometer, 1 village per kilometer, hundreds and thousands of villages, and people are dying every day. Now, those who die are young people. From the onset of illness to going to the hospital, they die quickly. Sometimes they can't even make it to the hospital before passing away, and no one reflects on this matter. This also explains a problem: why Chinese people now clearly feel that there are fewer people. Many people in the cities are asking, where have the people gone? There are no people on the streets, no people in the shops, and no people in the shopping malls. Some say that because a large number of factories have closed down, many people who came from rural areas to work in the cities have chosen to return home. But the problem is that a large number of uninhabited villages have also appeared in rural areas. Woman. While on a self-driving tour in Hunan, I actually found a large house with no one living in it, and the outside of the building was overgrown with weeds. Walking inside, I saw a lot of relics. I wondered what happened here. What kind of story does this place hold? So many relics, military uniforms, sweaters, the cabinets were full of clothes. I never thought there would be a TV here, and a Yuxing stereo. This was really unexpected. Such an abandoned dormitory building, yet there were so many relics. Is anyone here? This house is so clean. Wow, there's a TV. Hey, look, the floor is so clean, but it's obvious that no one lives here. Did you see it? The bed is still clean, and the door is wide open. There's even a flashlight, the same model as mine. This room puzzles me. Everything is very clean, yet the door is open. The couplets on this house are actually white. White couplets generally have two meanings. Either they have faded, or they signify that a mourning ceremony has been held. Look behind me. On both the right and left, there are actually many buildings we haven't even explored yet. Man. Hello, everyone. I am taking a photo of a village where nearly all the houses are two-story buildings. The level of desolation and the bleak atmosphere here are unimaginable. This is the first house you see when you enter the village, and this is the second house. The second house is also a building. Forget about the weeds growing over the vegetables. Look at how long this gate has been closed. This is the third house. The grass at the third house is almost as high as the gate. These are all modern buildings, right? Did you see the third house? The gate has collapsed. This is the fourth house. Look, the back of the fourth house is also made up of two-story modern buildings. This is the fifth house. The fifth house is a bungalow, which is abandoned. It's such a pity. There are 3 houses outside. To put it bluntly, these houses are in particularly good condition, and they are located right next to the road. If transportation were inconvenient, it might be understandable that this place was abandoned, but the road has been built right up to the doorstep. As the saying goes, when the road is open, people will come. This is the current situation in Hulutao Village, Tengzhou. Man, are you the only one living here at night? How many people were in the village at its peak? Old man, 406 people. Man, are you still living in this village now? Old man, yes. Man, how many families are left in this village now? Old man, there are 16 families, and such depopulated villages are not just isolated cases. It is now known that similar abandoned villages exist in Hunan, Hubei, Henan, Hebei, Guangxi, Yunnan, and other places. Man, friends, family, I don't know what happened here. A small town with a population of hundreds of thousands has been completely abandoned. There are about 1,000 households here, maybe even more than that, but now only 10 households remain. Most of the houses are marked as sealed and welded shut, making it impossible to enter. However, some can still be accessed. Have you seen this house? It was clearly vandalized and later sealed with iron sheets. It is well ventilated. This footage was taken by a blogger who entered an abandoned mansion. Inside, there are daily necessities and clothing, but no one knows where the owner has gone. Man, stepping into this house, you can see what arrogance means. It's dark. Let me show you slowly. The rich live in excess. Everything is untouched. Look at these expensive supplements and brand-name clothes just left behind. Let's check the second floor. There are beds, luggage, massage chairs, and luxury goods. Nothing seems to have been taken. Oh my God, this 55 bag has traveled thousands of miles. This house belonged to a wealthy woman. Cosmetics, a phone, and a closet full of leather jackets, furs, and designer clothes. Now I truly understand the arrogance of the rich. The third floor is a sunroom. These villages, houses, and even this mansion are fully stocked with daily necessities. The only mystery, the owners are missing. Netizens commented, "I think the village was abandoned after many died in the epidemic, and the government covered it up." If there were no relics, it could be urbanization or migration, but a house full of belongings. Suspicious. Maybe it was cleared by the white-clad people. It looks like the residents were taken away. Open doors and scattered items suggest a raid. Some speculated, during COVID-19, entire villages were wiped out. Now they're being uncovered one by one. Remember Wuhan's early outbreak? Crematoriums ran 24/7, no IDs were checked, just piles of phones for later identification. The Oppo sign shows this village was abandoned years ago. Connecting the dots, China suffered catastrophic losses. This is real. In March, the epidemic in China continued to spread. People in Shenzhen, Nanjing, Tianjin, Henan, and other regions reported that those with weak immune systems had been infected multiple times, and hospitals remained overloaded. Many people suffered from lung infections, with some even developing white lung. Regardless of age, sudden deaths occurred frequently. Not only were hospitals crowded with patients, but crematoriums were also full and overloaded. Many funeral homes were constantly recruiting new staff. A crematorium in Shenzhen, China, recently recruited security guards with a monthly salary of up to 12,000 yuan. A man who claimed to be brave successfully applied for the job, but he was so scared that he resigned after working only one night shift, became a topic of discussion among local people. A self-media person, Little Flower, recently said that it is now March, and people in the village have gone out to work one after another, but her 34-year-old brother has not found a suitable job and is very anxious. Just a few days ago, her cousin, who was far away in Shenzhen, introduced a job to her brother. At that time, the cousin only said that the job was a bit special, but the salary was high, 12,000 yuan a month, about $1,700. My brother's eyes lit up when he heard it. 12,000 yuan a month is a year's income from farm work in our village. So, without hesitation, her brother packed his luggage and went straight to Shenzhen. After arriving in Shenzhen, his cousin immediately called his friend, and soon his friend drove over. My brother was quite satisfied. He was of a good age, tall and strong. He should be able to do this job. However, his cousin's friend said there were 3 conditions for this job: courage, good health, and no heart disease or high blood pressure. My brother patted his chest and assured them there was no problem. Then he went to the hospital for a physical examination, and he passed. Next, his cousin accompanied him to the workplace. It took about an hour's drive out of the city to a more remote area. There was a cluster of houses, and that area felt desolate. My brother saw that it was a funeral home. His cousin's friend told him that there was nothing much to do on duty. The main task was night patrols. He was instructed not to talk at night, to ignore small animals as much as possible, not to wander around unnecessarily, and to only go to designated patrol areas. After making arrangements, his cousin and the friend left, leaving him alone at the funeral home. During the day, he felt fine. There were many people around. The number of funerals is high, so their relatives come and go continuously, and the atmosphere was lively, so he didn't feel anything unusual. At first, he was quite relaxed, but in the silent night, he heard all kinds of sounds: cats meowing, birds chirping, crows cawing, faint sobbing, and eerie, wailing cries. In the pitch-black darkness, fear crept in. He began to think about the various causes of death of those in the funeral home, from sudden death to jumping off buildings, the flu, car accidents, and more. The more he thought about it, the more terrified he became. His mind kept replaying scenes from horror movies he had seen, and his heart pounded uncontrollably. As his fear grew, he had to patrol once an hour. Although he carried a flashlight, he barely dared to move. Every second felt like torture. After barely making it to dawn, he immediately ran back to the dormitory to pack his things and called his cousin, saying he simply couldn't do the job. He said that even if he were offered 20,000 yuan a month, he still wouldn't do it. He was too scared to stay there alone. Too many bodies are brought in for cremation every day. It's bustling during the day, but really creepy at night. His cousin didn't try to persuade him and had to drive him back. And so this brave man worked at the crematorium for only one day and left without even asking for his salary. This incident became a local joke. Due to the special nature of work in funeral homes and crematoriums, most people see it as taboo and dare not take such jobs. However, with the continuous decline of China's economy in recent years and the high unemployment rate, competition for similar positions has become increasingly fierce. According to mainland media reports, in February this year, when the Yucheng Funeral Home in Shandong Province recruited funeral management personnel, 107 people signed up and passed the review to compete for the position.
As the epidemic spreads in mainland China, more and more signs indicate that a large number of people are dying in various places. Many bloggers on mainland social media questioned, does China still have 1.4 billion people? Recently, a mainland driver drove 300 miles and saw 17 families holding funerals. He lamented, "Death has entered its peak." The driver was shocked to see 17 funerals in 300 miles. Death has entered its peak. According to a video released by Overseas Breaking News on the X platform, many netizens recently said that they suddenly found no people in the city or the countryside. Where did everyone go? The man in the video said he saw 17 families holding funerals and only one family holding a wedding along a 310-mile road, which means that the ratio of births to deaths is 1 to 17. According to the video, a man said bluntly, "Death has reached its peak." He said he originally thought it would take another 5 or 10 years to reach the peak of deaths. During my business trip to Changsha on the national highway this time, I counted along the way and found that 17 families were holding funerals, and only one family was holding a wedding. That is, the ratio of births to deaths is 1 to 17. The man sighed. In just 310 miles of national highways. Not far away, I saw a funeral. And then not far away, I saw another family holding a funeral. Where are all the people? Do we really have 1.4 billion people in China? Mainland Douyin platform blogger Mr. Wang Talks About Finance said in a video on February 9th that he suddenly discovered a very scary phenomenon during the Chinese New Year. Everyone knows that there is no one in the city, and his cousin in the countryside also said that there are not many people in the countryside, and that the countryside is also deserted. You say China has a population of 1.4 billion. Where are all these people? The more I think about it, the more terrifying the question becomes. The blogger said he even began to doubt whether China really has a population of 1.4 billion. Do we really have 1.4 billion people in China? If there are really that many people, where did they go? They're not in the city, not in the countryside. There must be somewhere they've gone. Mainland netizens also questioned in the comment section, I doubt whether there are even 1 billion people. The population must have dropped significantly. Otherwise, why would the country allow third births? There are definitely not 1.4 billion people now, because more people are dying than being born. I estimate there are only about 800 million. Who told you there are still 1.4 billion people? The country has less than 1 billion people now. The comments from netizens are shocking. Jiangxi netizen, many villages have no people left. Guangdong netizen, 800 million is the population ceiling of China. One village has nearly half the population it used to, and almost all nearby villages are the same. Anhui netizen, there are definitely not 1.4 billion people because our production team used to have 200 people, but now there are only about 100. Beijing netizen, 5 people died in our village in a month, and they all ended up at the crematorium. Shandong netizens, there was a large village in our area where 18 elderly people died from last autumn to the end of the year. It is truly a microcosm of the whole country, with more people leaving and fewer arriving. Jiangxi netizens. In rural areas, many villages in our townships have disappeared, with not a single person remaining. More than a dozen villages under the entire village committee are gone, without a single resident. How can there be 1.4 billion people? Hunan netizens. We are neighbors here, and several people die every year. We haven't seen anyone getting married in years. There are fewer and fewer people. Jiangsu netizens. I haven't been home for a few years due to the pandemic. When I returned to the village, many familiar faces were gone. Not long ago, the famous Chinese singer Fei Wang, 56, said in a TV interview that in her family of 4, her parents and brother had passed away, leaving her as the only one remaining. The number of deaths in 2 places in Jiangsu last year was 4 times the number of births. The national population in 2022 was only 1 billion. On February 11th, population data released on the government website of Zhangyan District, Taizhou City, Jiangsu Province, attracted attention. The data showed that in 2024, about 2,200 people were born in Zhangyan District, while about 8,000 people died, making the number of deaths 3.7 times the number of births. Even more shocking was the population data released on the website of the Xinhua Municipal Government of Taizhou. In 2024, there were about 3,300 births and about 14,500 deaths, making the death toll 4.4 times the birth toll. Many netizens called it shocking. Because the Chinese Communist Party's official statistics have always been seriously understated, many netizens questioned that if the above figures are already so shocking after being beautified, then imagine how terrifying the real data must be. Some netizens even analyzed the history of the CCP's fraudulent statistics and speculated that the real data might basically need to be multiplied by 3, or even more. Others commented, "Jiangsu is a province with a large population, and it's already like this. Other regions must be even worse." Xing Rentao, a columnist for Watching China, pointed out in an article on January 17, 2023, that in early July 2022, the Shanghai Public Security Bureau's database was hacked, leading to a large-scale data leak. The hacker, known as China Dan, publicly sold the personal information of Chinese mainland residents and police case data on a cybercrime forum, including the personal details of more than 1 billion residents, with a massive 23 terabytes of data. 2 independent security researchers confirmed that a database table containing names, birthdays, addresses, ID numbers, and ID card photos had about 970 million entries. The article stated, that is to say, the national population recorded by the Public Security Bureau is about 1 billion,